It's Saturday night, and tonight we're having pizza because we had Fall Festival last night and they had stuff at church, so I saved my pizza dough and we made pizza tonight, and we'll have chicken soup tomorrow night. Sunday afternoon, evening dinner, chicken soup. That's what we had. Because we ended up doing pizza on Saturday night since we had Fall Festival on Friday. So this is what we had on Sunday after church. Actually, after church and before church. And it was delicious. Hit the spot. Happy Halloween, y'all. It's October 31st. It's the last night of the October Pantry Challenge. And I had frozen chili left over. I do that a lot of times. I make a big pot and save half of it and put it in the freezer, and that's what we're having tonight. There's also hot dogs. If the kids want to put chili on hot dogs, they can, but it's kind of our tradition to have chili on Halloween, and that's what we're having for dinner. Hope y'all did good with the challenge. Hope you had successes. And I hope you count them as successes. Don't count everything as failures, even if it wasn't perfect for you. It's not perfect for me. And that's just called life. Hi guys, my name is Brandy. Welcome to my channel, Sowing Back. Today, I wanted to take a moment to kind of recap the October Pantry Challenge. If this is your first time and you're clicking on, I put out kind of a call on my channel for anyone interested in doing an October Pantry Challenge in late September that would start for the whole month of October. And this was after I essentially revisited my 2020 pantry that totally got overrun and just a mess in 2020 with how life changed and how my shopping habits changed. And I imagine that a lot of you had a lot of the same things, so you can understand. I came across a lot of food that was out of date. I came across some food I wouldn't even consume anymore because I don't really eat some of those more processed things. And so yeah, and I went through there. I got an organization going in my pantry. I have a video on that. I can link it below and in the cards in case you want to see how I went about doing that. I do not have some fancy, I don't know, it's in my basement and in my laundry room, and it is a shelf that we kind of converted from Home Depot. I mean, it's nothing special. And so yes, and I found some different organizational things I could use so that I could actually see what I had and start using what I had instead of just keep piling crap down there. Excuse my language if that offends. So, but I know no other word to, that's how it was. So I got all of that organized, so I had a very good idea. I know what's in my freezers because last December I had bought a third of a share of a cow from a local farmer, a rancher. And so I knew what I had beef-wise. I also bought a good amount of pork products that I would use. Not everything that I would need, but what I like to keep on hand that I could go down easily, run up, get it out of the freezer, and be able to cook with it. I also had a good stock of whole chickens that were heritage breed raised that I got from a different farmer. So I knew that I had good quality meats and things like that in my freezer. I also had some frozen fruits, vegetables, things like that. Some from our own garden, some from farmers markets and things like that that I kind of stored up. Some just from like Azure or, you know, my local grocer. So I had an idea what I had there. And I kind of set this challenge up for October that I wanted to menu plan so that we did not eat out for the month of October, that I tried to live within a budget of $100 a week for buying what foods I needed to go and get, things that were perishable, dairy. I did try to do at least one new recipe each week, and I believe I was pretty successful on that, with the exception of the last week. I think my new recipe, it wasn't a new recipe, but it was a different, we actually ate our venison burgers. We had not had those before. And so that was probably a little bit of a cheat, because that was not a new recipe. I simply just made burgers like I would any other kind of burger, but it was venison meat. And we liked it. We actually liked those a lot better than the elk burgers, and I was pleasantly surprised. And so, but we didn't dislike the elk burgers. So just an FYI. So that was kind of my thing. I also, every Wednesday night, except for one night, we have Wednesday night dinner at church. So I am not responsible for cooking. I always made sure in one of my other meals that there would be leftovers for my older son, who is at a different church than we are. So he doesn't go to the Wednesday night where we go to eat dinner. And it doesn't necessarily always work out for him to go to a Wednesday night dinner anyway because of his job. So I always tried to make sure I had something in that week that I was making that I knew was going to have leftovers for said son. So he had something to eat, and I didn't have to feel bad, and he didn't have to go run fast food or something like that. And what I found is I really liked that night. Knowing I didn't have to cook that night made the other nights a little bit more enjoyable. And so that was something else that kind of I filed in my file cabinet. I like having that. And so essentially what happened week one, I was under budget by, I think it was like $16, give or take, somewhere in there. So I was winning pretty well, happy about that. Week two, I used a little trickery. And what I did with that was I got marketed to on Facebook from the supermarket Sprouts. I had never done their pickup service, and they offered me a big $20 coupon if I would spend $100. Well, I had a $100 budget, and I went online and I ordered what I needed. And of course, by this time, I realized I understood my Azure order had left and my ground turkey wasn't coming, so that was something I had to add to it. And I thought, well, I'm in the clear because I had that extra 20 bucks, which would have made my budget $120. And I was like, okay. And so based off of that, I came in at 114, I think it was, and some change. Plus, I just added the 16 from the week prior, so I had a little bit overage. So with my overage, the other thing I had done was my local Publix had Zevias buy one get one free for a big, I think they're 10-pack. I don't think they're a 12-pack. I think it's a 10-pack. But they had those on sale for like $6.99 buy one get one free. They had some Lily's chocolate buy one get one free, which was, I think it was like $3.99. And I have to pick my own bananas, so I picked my own bananas, and I think there was like one more thing in that. And so that week I was right there. I think I was within a few dollars of knocking out the first 2 weeks budget, including the extra 20 bucks that I got from Sprouts for using their service. And I was very happy with the service. I had to drive a little bit further to get to a Sprouts. But it wasn't so far that it wasn't worth doing. So it worked out. It worked out. It was a win-win. The third week, I went over on my budget by, I think it was $13.64, and that was my ground turkey that I had to purchase. Otherwise, I would have been in budget and doing just fine. So that was definitely an overage. I also did veer off, and I stopped at a local nursery and that had a local pop-up farmer's market. And I did purchase some peaches and cream corn. It's non-GMO, which is so hard to find. I was wanting to go to our state farmers market in October, and we decided against it after some of the different reviews that we had about trying to find those kinds of things. But I found them at this market, so I bought that, and I got some hot peppers for my fermentations that I was wanting. I didn't have any hot peppers really growing in my garden, and I needed some for that project, so I was able to pick that up. I think I also got some pears. There were a few other things that I got. It wasn't like a budget buster. I'm thinking maybe 25 bucks at the most were spent. Plus, I got a whole flat of free vegetables to put in my garden by stopping there that day because they were trying to get rid of them. They had sold what they needed to sell, and they were giving the others away. So I saw that as kind of a wash. Again, it's probably a little bit of a cheat, but I want to be totally transparent here. Then the last week, I didn't need much. So I did go to Publix, and I picked up, I needed a couple of things. I think it was like some, I can't remember, I thought I needed like some lunch meat, some bread, something like that. But it really wasn't very much. Matter of fact, there was some junk in that one. Like instead of making my own tea, I bought a gallon tea, stuff like that. And I think on that trip I spent, I believe it was under $60. And yeah, it was under $60. And so, and I really didn't have plans to shop anymore until the challenge was over. But then I remembered on that Friday morning, actually Thursday, the day before, our last farmer's market in my town right over, it's like one of my favorites, was that Friday, and that was I think that was the 28th. And I have some vendors there I really like to go and support. So I did. I was able to get some, I was able to spend the remainder of our $40, and I was able to get some goat cheese that we like, some smoked rainbow trout we like. I got my cabbages, which I was working on fermenting. You'll see that video coming up. And some North Georgia apples for eating. I had enough apples with the bag I got, the second that I got, the half bushel, that I put up. So it was nice to be able to go. Matter of fact, the farmer we typically go to up in Ellijay, Georgia to get our apples, they were at the market. So I was able to buy their apples, and it was fun because my favorite one is Matsu. And he had Matsus, and he had the first of the Pink Ladies. That's our second favorite apple. So we got those for fresh eating, and that was what I spent the remainder of my $40 on. So, and I probably, with tax and stuff, I think I might have went over a couple dollars. I did not have receipts for those because I paid cash. And oftentimes, if you're not using a card at those things, they don't get those extra fees. So a lot of times they throw in little things here and there. I also was able to get some sausage, some Polish sausage for my son that he loves. That's like his favorite, and I've got it in the freezer. Even though we weren't using it for October, I went ahead and picked that up. So I felt like that was a good way to finish that out. So, was it a success? Absolutely. Was there any cheating? Yes. So the last week, I think that was the Wednesday night, we had a special choir rehearsal. Now, we typically eat dinner at church on Wednesday nights. Well, because we were having this huge event coming up this past weekend, and I didn't know this when I planned everything, there was not going to be a Wednesday night dinner. Matter of fact, we didn't even have church that Wednesday night, but we still had choir rehearsal. And it went very long as we were preparing to perform a piece for this conference that our church was having. So I did cheat. I absolutely cheated, and I ate out. I did put a picture in that week's video. I stopped, I think it was like 9 o'clock. Before I was able to it might have been after 9 o'clock, before I was able, on my way home, I was starving. And I stopped and I got some Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets. And I ate those. I sat in the parking lot and I ate those with Chick-fil-A sauce. It was delicious. And so I did cheat. However, my husband and boys, they had leftovers that they ate. So it was a partial cheat. It was a cheap cheat because it was just me. And I didn't have to get all the bells and whistles and stuff like that. So that was the big cheat. Everything else it really went well. I got a lot better at preparing like breakfast things for us. I did record a couple of the different things I made, but I just kind of got in a habit of making sure we had either refrigerator oatmeal, or we had a sourdough banana nut bread, or a sourdough pumpkin muffins or bread, and that there was options in the refrigerator that were easy to grab in the mornings, and that really helped. It really helped out a lot. And so I recommend, even though I didn't spend a lot of time talking about that was a big win for us, because a lot of times we would eat, especially if we ate like the refrigerator oatmeal, John and I are both like, we don't want to eat anything else till dinner. We're like full. And it keeps you, well fed. So that worked out really well for us. And the meal plan that I came up with, I liked that I had like our old standbys that I talked about in the first video. I have kids who are still at home. They expect to have turkey tacos every week. It is probably their favorite. And so I want to, while I have them home, I want to honor those things. But I was really proud of my boys because, excuse me, my nose is itching. And my dog, I'm having to rub, if I'm moving, it's because I'm rubbing my dog's head, so he'll be quiet. And so, but I was really proud of my boys because they were willing to try the new stuff that I made. And they, for the most part, they all liked it. I definitely have some new recipes to put in my rotation. We really enjoyed the pot pie. John and I love the salmon croquettes or croquets or patties, whatever you want to say. Odie, you big ham. So, he looks like he's smiling. Anyway, those were all wins. So I love that I had something new of interest that came up, and I had fun making those. I had fun sharing those with you, but I also was really thankful for the good old standbys that we do, that the family likes, and they can know what to expect. And I liked having those items that were easy off the pantry shelf, like doing spaghetti or pasta meals. Those were really easy to do and pull together. And so I was real happy with how all of it went. I think it worked really well for October for us because it really was before basketball season kicks off for us. There's a lot of traveling we have to do at dinner time, and that leaves me to where I am now. And that is, I want to continue a lot of what I've learned. And some of what I've learned is a menu plan is very valuable, even if you only do it on a weekly schedule before you go to the store. Because if you do that menu plan before you go to the store, then you're not going to necessarily go in there and purchase a bunch of other things. There's so many things when you go into the store that they're trying to get your attention, to get you to put in your cart and to buy. And oftentimes we overbuy things that we don't necessarily need. And yes, sometimes that's convenient stuff, but sometimes it's stuff that just looks good, or we think, oh, I like that. But oftentimes we just buy too much. We don't need that much food. We're not going to consume that much food in that given week. Now, I do understand some people like doing once a month shopping or every 2 weeks. I've been in those categories before, but I think there's something to be said to going once a week and picking up those items and then maybe having a bigger haul to kind of keep yourself stocked up. That if you can't make it to the store, you don't have to go to the store. And so that's kind of what my plan is going forward. Now next, I know you're all wondering, how much money did you save? So hold on and I'll show you how much money I was able to save. All right, I had to go get the money. So first of all, I want to say, you may see what I saved and you're going to think, well, that wasn't that much. But I will tell you that during this challenge, we had a loss. And it was hard for us. It was during the first week. We had a Mr. Kitty emergency, and we had to have an emergency vet visit. And he was able to come home. We thought we were on the right track, and unfortunately, within the next few days, it was very evident that Mr. Kitty's time here was done, and that the most humane thing to do was to go back to my vet and to put him down so that he could go peacefully and, as I said, humanely. It was very clear he was suffering those last couple hours, and it was hard and it was sad. It was not what any of us wanted, but that's kind of life. And so because that happened when it did, I ended up having 2 emergency vet visits. And so those are not cheap. If any of you have had pets and stuff like that, you know that. So in truth, the amount of money I'm fixing to show you, you could have added another $400 to, because that's what I used the money I had on hand to pay that. I didn't have to add debt to our family. I was just able to use that money, and you know, I didn't have to mess with savings or anything like that. I just used that money. So, so just know that my savings that I'm still the cash I'm still holding in my hand would have been more had $150 cash. Because what I did is when I went shopping, my first week, I truly intended on going in with the cash, paying with cash and taking what I had left. I also had an opportunity that first week to bless a family in need with the hurricane that had just come through. I live in Georgia. A lot of times when there's hurricanes and things with Florida, people come up, and this family showed up at my Bible study on a Saturday morning. They had some need. I had cash. I was able to help out, and I also had eggs. Happened to have fresh eggs in my car, and was able to give them that too. So, that was a blessing. So there were things like that that came up in the month as well that I guess I was able to bless others, which was kind of part of the point of this. But I saved 350 big ones. Okay, so I'm looking at my schedule for November, for my family schedule, and I can't say that we're not going to eat out. I know we're going to eat out some in November because we have a lot of birthdays in November, and that's kind of one of the special treats we've always done for our children. On their birthday, they get to pick where they want to go, and we go out to eat. That should kind of tell you we don't eat out a whole lot, and we really never have. But we do on their birthday to celebrate. So I have 2 sons with birthdays in November. My husband's birthday's in November. And my sister's birthday's in November. And of course we have Thanksgiving. And I'm hosting Thanksgiving for my family, which I'm really excited about. But, and we are in full-on basketball games. Most weeks we have at least 2 games a week, with the exception of Thanksgiving week. We only have 1 game that week, even though we have no school. So it's going to be pretty busy, and I made a meal plan for the rest of this week, which was pretty easy with things on hand. You'll see those in this video. Hopefully it won't be too long. If it is, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to get through it. But I'm looking at making a meal plan for each week. And I'm looking to try to, go in with that meal plan with a certain amount of money in mind. Now, the one thing about the Pantry Challenge, I did not have to buy any personal products. I did not have to buy cleaning products. I didn't have to buy like TP, paper towel, we were well stocked on all of that. We're still okay stocked on some of those things. Some of those things like the boys' deodorant, I'm gonna have to go and address. So that was not included in the budget, that I did. So those are things I'm having to look at. How do I want to do it? And one of the things that I learned from this was I want to set separate budgets. So like when I'm going to get animal food, my animal budget, I kind of have an animal budget, and I don't necessarily have to go places where I can get food for my animals. So that one's easier to do. That's harder when you start talking about your personal products, if you do any kind of supplements, if you, any of the household things, because oftentimes the places you go get those things, you can also get food. So I think what I want to do is I want to have a special trip where I'm only getting those things for the month, and that's that. And if it doesn't get, it ain't getting got. And so, so I would have a separate budget for that. The second thing is that I want to keep a food budget where I'm not overbuying. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think it's wise to, keep yourself stocked up on things. I do that a lot of times with my Azure order, because I can order more in bulk for certain things that I might need. I try to keep enough stuff on hand. Also by canning and putting things on my shelf. There are certain canned things that I might go and buy that I know that we use. And so I think you should have an allotment in your grocery budget for those things, but you need to live within that allotment. Like, you don't just need to go way out there. And I think that's what happened a lot during 2020. I was not shopping very often because of everything going on, afraid you couldn't get things, and then you could get something, and that's just no way to live. So my goal for November going forward for my Pantry Challenge, and I will do a recap at the end of November, is that if I could save this month the $350, yes, I said if I would not have had the Mr. Kitty stuff with the vet, that would have been an additional $400. So it would have been $750. If I could have done that each month, that would be great. But I know that's not realistic, because I know I wasn't buying personal items. I wasn't buying some of these other things. But I did do the $350. And I think that I can do $350 again for the month of November. And so that's my goal, is to do at least $350 that I am saving, that I'm squirreling away. Because that's real tangible savings. And I said, I had no idea when I started this challenge at the very first day that God would give me the opportunity to help somebody. And it wasn't like I did something huge. It doesn't have to be huge. But it was huge to them, And so, anyway. So do I feel like my October challenge was a success? Yes. I feel like it was a big success. I don't know that they'll watch this, but I am very thankful to my husband and my kids, who might have been starving and ready to eat and would wait until I could video things or take pictures of things, who were so supportive about, nope, this was the budget, this is what we have, and they were willing to go along with it. And it really wasn't all that painful. And so, but I'm very thankful to them. And so with that, I hope that if you did the October challenge, I hope that you found successes, even if you had, some fails, some cheats. that overall you found that it was beneficial for you. I hope that you will consider, like I said, trying to make a menu plan, trying to shop off your menu plan, making sure that you have the old standbys in there, you know, not depleting your pantry. That's not wise either. But keeping it at a healthy level that's doable, and also being able to find ways that you can share and bless others. And I think that is, like I said in the first video, I believe that's what we were created to do and be, those kinds of people. And because I don't know if you've ever been in need, I have, and I have had people I did not even know that stood up and blessed my family in times of real need. And when I mean real need, I mean like shelter, water, food, things like that. We definitely had some times and seasons in life where those were issues. And there were people who made sure that we had the items that we needed. And I want to be one of those people that cares about others, that might be in need. And with that, we're in November now, and we think about, at least here in the States, we think about Thanksgiving and being thankful for whatever abundance you have. No matter how small it may seem or how big it may seem, we should be grateful and thankful for the things that we have. I feel like we live in a time in history where there's lots of anxiousness and fear and uncertainties, and that can be overwhelming for a lot of people. And I think it's far better to be a people that looks to the future with hope, with grace, with kindness, with gratefulness, humbleness, and love for all people, you know, and with a generous heart. The world needs that. I need that. You need that. We all need it. And so I think that's a better way to look at life and to look at the long range future. Will there be bad times? Yeah, there will be. Will there be good times? Absolutely. Will there be sad times? You can count on it. Will there be angry times? I think we're kind of living in those right now. But we're not supposed to live in those too long. And I think that's the life I like living. I like pushing forward even if it's difficult. I like finding ways, and I'm thankful that I've been given the opportunity to do that. So I hope that you'll find those things, that you will have a grateful heart, even in a difficult season. Remember, it's still a season. It won't last forever. Just like our seasons don't last forever. Summer doesn't last forever, neither does fall or winter or spring. They're always changing. And with new seasons, it brings new things. And those are not all bad things. Some of them may be challenging things, but some of them will be really rewarding and good things. So I hope that you will take that encouragement. I hope you have been blessed. If you found value in this challenge and you liked it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you like our channel, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. I say us because John appears sometimes in the videos. Someone who might find our content of value, you think they might enjoy it, I would love it if you would share our video. Don't feel like you have to share or spam our channel or put anything out. Anyway, with that, I hope this video is not 2 hours long, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that you have a great season of Thanksgiving in your heart, and I'll see you next time. All right, it's Thursday night, and we're having tacos for dinner. And this is a lot of taco meat because I scored a great deal at the Walmart on lean ground turkey meat. They had the big 3-pound packs for $11.34. It had been $16.94. So I did 2 of those packs, of 6 pounds of meat. So I will be freezing what we don't have tonight so that we have turkey taco meat for the rest of the month. So I don't have to buy it. So that was a good find. And if you like ground turkey, you might want to check out the Walmart.